So for those of you that might be new to my channel or new to the build, my dad started this build in 1990 for my mom, and he did a lot of stuff back then that I would not have done. So I've been going back and redoing pretty much everything that's been done and trying to clean everything up. This includes the mounting of the motor and transmission. The motor and transmission were mounted a little bit too far forward, so there's not sufficient room for a radiator and fan and all of that, so I decided to take and move the motor back another 2 inches, which required us to make a new transmission crossmember and then redo the tunnel as well. So here it is. This was made with some 1 3/4 by 2 inch rectangle tube, some 1/4 inch plate, and then I took a 3 by 2 tube and cut it and made this mounting flange. You can see there's gusset holding on that flange, and also there's some welded on nuts there, so it's like threaded holes to bolt on some drag blocks, because I like making sparks. Here I have an energy suspension transmission mount. Now this is a polyurethane, which is a hard material, and this is a some sort of a rubber which does compress and offers you a little bit more sound deadening, but you're gonna have a performance loss because the motor is gonna move more, because the tranny moves more. The biggest advantage of this setup here is that there's a threaded hole for a regular bolt, versus this style has a stud that comes factory molded into this, and it really makes putting the transmission in and out with a tight trans tunnel difficult. So this here, I actually have to unbolt this from the transmission itself, but this here I can keep all together because there's not a stud sticking out to try and sort of work into the hole. So that's the biggest pro of this unit here, and as well as the performance gain from having a polyurethane bushing versus a stock bushing, which gets weather cracked and rips. This one's already in kind of rough shape and it hasn't even been used yet, it's just been sitting, so these are known to rip and these will not. Now the height difference over stock, like I said, this does compress, so that actually compresses down to what this is. So right now I'm working on building another new tunnel. So basically what I got here is just a rolled cone, and what I'm doing to make sure that my space is exactly how I want it, because not only does the bench seat have to fit over the top of this, but also the drive shaft has to clear underneath, and it's literally all going to be within 1/8 of an inch of each other, so it's got to be really precise. So what I'm doing, took a bunch of measurements, I came up with this. Not really rocket science, but it's some extra work and extra pain in the ass. I'm gonna run a 3-inch drive shaft, so I have to account for 1.5 inches on each side, and the slip yoke or the U-joints, whatever size we end up going with on that. So basically, it's all gonna be contour tight. Yeah. So here's the tranny tunnel that I'm building. Now when you're working with cone-shaped objects, you can see clearly that this is a cone. It's bigger on this side. Woo! Crocs and socks! Anyways, it's bigger on this side than it is on this side, so it tapers down. Sometimes they can be a little bit difficult because depending on where you position them, you see there's a cone cut out in this floor. Depending where you position them, it's gonna sit differently on the flanges. Now if you look here, for most applications this would be fine. You could just work it around and weld it in. You see there's that gap. Well, that gap means there's a little bit too much material in the center, or in the beginning of this piece. So how would you fix that? Well, I have these flanges bent into it. So the easiest way, really, take this flange out, or take this out, and I want to bend this flange back and make the flange slightly larger. Now you can see this side here is a 1/2 inch and this side here is 3/8. Just because I did the first side and then I kind of guessed on the second side and I was a little bit off. But anyways, you could do this a few different ways. If you're fortunate, you'll have a sheet metal brake here, so you can bend it back. Now when you bend it back, you're going to get a little deformation. It's not going to get completely flat. So after that, I'm going to take it over my planishing hammer, made in the USA, just like me, and flatten it out completely. Anyways, now what you could do, if you don't have a planishing hammer, you could just do it all with the hammer and a pair of vice grips. But the faster way, use the planishing hammer and run it through. So I'm just gonna stick it in there. This is a flat anvil, so it'll put your pound your metal back to flat. See if I can do this one-handed without earplugs. Now you can see that edge is nice and flat. It's got some scratches, some scoring, but it is flat. And if you remember, I said the other flange was 3/8, so now I'm gonna go with the 5/8 flange to make up for that little bit of extra material that I had here at the front, which will in turn take more material off of this radius, and it'll drop it down lower. So remember, a few seconds ago, I was just trying to show you some shit with that stupid drop-down light. Well, I got this Milwaukee hood lamp that is fucking sweet! I didn't even think to use this until now, but look at that! Now that is some lighting. I just got it spread across the pillars there. Dude, that is work lighting now. Yeah. So I'm in here doing some more work on the tranny tunnel, and I cut out the original tranny tunnel here, and there was this brace which runs through a cross member like this, and then the sheet metal is welded on top of it. Anyways, that adds some extra structural strength all the way across. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna cap off those plates there, and there's actually gonna be no room. There's like that much room between my drive shaft and this tunnel here, so I actually have to have the brace on the outside of the tunnel or the inside of the vehicle. So just made one here out of some 16 gauge. I used my stretcher, stretched it to shape. And then I can weld it all on there and cap this off, and it'll have a nice structural continuation from the outside or from the inside of the floor, so it does the same basic purpose. Now there's another one right here with a big cutout, and that one was eliminated. So on that one, I'm actually just gonna make a piece with this piece of 16 gauge here that will go up on the inside of that piece from the underside and be bead rolled to have some extra strength to it. So that'll just be a little addition there. Now these things probably aren't necessary, but I like doing overkill because if the body flexes, then your doors will not fit right, and it leads to issues. Got the trans tunnel all welded in with the bracing and whatnot. Now I'm working on mounting the seat. So I have these seat risers, studs that are welded into the floor. And I also have these spacers, which I might need to use depending on how the seat lines up with that tunnel. I tried to measure and make it all precise, but I got some 1/4-inch washers here in case. Tunnel looks pretty good. And the drive shaft is like that close to it the whole way back, so it's nice. Maximum interior room. Woohoo!
I don't want to go in.
What are you doing?
I don't want to go in.
What, are you sweeping?
Yeah, I don't want to go
Hee.
They won't want to go in.
Oh, you can get them. You gotta clean it up, otherwise we can't get back to work. gorgeous.